Jailbreak seasons are one of the most underappreciated features in the game. The free prizes, the theme creativity, it's probably one of the reasons why this game hasn't faded into complete irrelevance. But if I had to be honest, the way they set it up kinda sucks. There isn't much to do, makes no sense sometimes, and it feels extremely slow paced. So today, I'll be going over some issues me and others have with the season system, what our criticisms are, and giving some ideas and solutions to them. But first, I think this needs a little bit of context. In late 2018, seasons were added to the game, but it wasn't the format you know right now. Instead, you could go to level 50, it didn't have any contracts, no daily XP, and even cops and criminals had their own levels and prizes. This was however changed in 2020, pretty much similar to the current system we know right now. Also, how was there only 3 seasons of the old system between 2 years of time? But the current system was, and is still pretty unpopular compared to its older counterpart. So then why was it removed? One of the reasons was that it was seen as too grindy, which I think is a valid reason. There wasn't any XP limit besides getting to the max level, so you could literally get to level 50 in a few days, even though there was 3 months of the season left. And you'd have to do it twice, since there was a cop and criminal team that had their own little levels. But one of the biggest complaints I got across my community and the Jailbreak subreddit was how slow and restricted the system feels. You can only get a certain amount of XP per day, you have to wait a week for contracts to reset, and has no purpose after you finish everything for the day/week. For a game like Jailbreak, where most of the community is pretty competitive, this is pretty annoying. It's like being on the highway, and there's a huge traffic jam. Everyone wants to speed up and get out of it, but they can only move ever so much. Another major complaint was contracts, but I'll be honest, I personally like the idea of contracts. It's a good way to get XP that doesn't feel as restrictive, and is something you can usually get while playing the game. But I have a question. What the hell are some of these? Most of them are really normal, but some of them are just really weird and specific. How does this contribute to playing the game at all, outside of getting your XP? Also, I personally think that contracts take way too long to generate, but I'll go more in depth about that later in the video. The prizes that you get from leveling up also have some criticisms. Some of my audience doesn't like the idea of furniture being a prize, which is understandable, but I think there should still be one every few seasons. That's probably what they're doing anyway, since there wasn't any furniture items in Season 31. The level 10 vehicle prize also has some criticism. The vehicle has been just the same statistically, really. And if you've been consistently getting the level 10 vehicle every single season, it does get really repetitive and boring. At least the vehicles really suck though, that I can appreciate. I also think that the top 2% bonus prize you get after every season ends, it just feels really random. It feels like it's just there, and I feel like it's missing a lot of potential for what it could possibly be. So now that we got our criticisms, here are some of my possible solutions for them. Also, if you have any of your own solutions or ideas on how the season system could change, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear them. First up, XP grinding. We'll be getting rid of the daily XP system in more favor of the old system. But instead of having it be a free-for-all, I think we should have something where every time you gain a level in a day, the harder it will be to get XP. So if you leveled up today, and the amount of XP was, let's say, 15 per robbery, on your next level, you would only gain 10 XP, and it'll keep decreasing the more you level up. And this effect will stop and reset once the day happens. I think this is a really good way to balance out the grindiness players want, but not having it be too grindy to the point where it's just too much or overwhelming. I also think we should spread out the levels a lot more. This is going to make room and space to grind, so you don't instantly get to level 10 in just a few days. I would say you should expand it to around 25 to 40 levels for the top prize. For contracts, again, I think they should stay, but some of these just gotta go. It's okay having to do something somewhat obscure in the game to get XP, but it shouldn't be something too obscure to the point where you would never do it in the game besides just to gain XP. I also think that contracts shouldn't have to take a week to generate new ones. Personally, with the new XP system, I think it should only take 3 to 5 days. This will get more users to come back, combined with better contracts to do, and I think players are going to see it as a good thing to do after getting some levels, since they can focus on their contracts to get more XP, instead of relying on the more levels per day format we talked about earlier. Now on to prizes. I think we should try to use these prizes to get new players into Jailbreak more, and actually have them feel rewarded and want to come back to play the game. So I think around the first 1 to 5 levels of the new system, we should give the user minor prizes like saves, extra money, rocket fuel, etc. Everything else can be what it is normally. The 2% bonus prize thing is also going to get an entire rework. We'll be changing it to 1%, and the prize is now going to be 2 items for customization instead of the usual 1. I think this is going to be more unique, and I don't really know how Asimo decides where each prize goes, but I think the best looking items should go to the top 1% reward. And the last thing I'll be talking about is season passes. I didn't bring them up until now, but I think they're worth mentioning somewhere in this video, since they were brought up in my comments and I have thought about some solutions for changing them. But if I had to be honest, I think the season passes are pretty perfect for what they are right now. You are paying for extra content and XP boost, and you're probably going to want to play the game more and use your season pass, since you have access to better prizes. I do have one suggestion for the season pass though. I think that VIP players should be able to purchase a season pass for much cheaper. Just something that I think would make the game pass more worth it, honestly. Also, if we're actually going to make changes to the system, please don't reset it back to the first season like you did with the current one. Having 2 season ones is already confusing enough. So, I guess that's all I had to say about the season system and what I would do to change it. Hopefully this video reaches one of the developers somehow. I wouldn't be lying if I didn't say I feel like I'm missing something from my explanation about some stuff, or explain something that felt confusing. So sorry if you felt that way anytime across the video. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any of your own ideas you want to share for the new system, or even some questions about my ideas, let me know in the comments. I'll be more excited to read them all and see them. But for now, I'll see you later.